Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Movement, episode 2. Today, episode 2? Episode 3.
Episode
Sorry.
three.
Yeah, can't do
Yeah.
maths apparently. So I have with me the wonderful, the whimsical, David, the whimsical one Wims. How are you doing today, Mr.
I'm doing
Whimsy?
good. I've been told there's storms on the way, so hopefully, that's not too crazy. When I'm trying to get home. But other than that, yeah, just good, just chilling.
Oh yeah, I saw Storm Ellen trending on Twitter and I thought that was,
Ah,
because
yeah.
all the controversy with the Ellen show going on. Thought it had something to do
Yeah.
with that, not an actual storm, but yeah.
No, it turns out maybe Storm Allen is caused, by Ellen. I thought about that.
I'm just imagining a huge 50-foot like Ellen just destroying buildings, Pacific Rim style.
Hell yeah.
So, Whimsy, as I like to ask with all my guests, what was life like before League of Legends? What games got you into gamer mode?
Oh, that's a kind of a weird one because it's like, see, for me especially, I don't know, I didn't play too many video games until kind of maybe second part of secondary school because my parents would just be like, were very kind of strict about it, and I liked them, but like I just like generally wasn't allowed to have a lot of stuff. But then eventually that kind of just stopped happening. So the first real big game that I would play would have actually been Mass Effect 2, and that kind of like I just what happened in that game like blew my mind. And suddenly I just like started like buying loads of big games to try like see what was good and kind of stuff that was specifically critically well reviewed. Um, I didn't play too much multiplayer stuff, I guess, specifically because I think uh, it was tough getting like my mom to agree to like an online like PlayStation thing or Xbox Online or whatever. So the only thing I really played online a lot of was actually Pokemon Showdown. Um, which a bunch of lads in my school actually ended up just like making not an actual club, but like a kind of an underground Pokemon club that we would kind of have tournaments against each other and stuff like that. Tig, you would know, Celtic Tiger, he was one of the members of that. So yeah, that was my only real competitive thing before I started playing League.
Nice, nice. Yeah, Mass Effect 2. It's a banger game. I fucking love that game.
Oh, absolute man! It is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
Like that and Breath of the Wild are like my one and my two, easy peasy. It's just my Mass Effect 2 was insane.
So, are you Paragon or Renegade?
I Paragon. I just went Paragon because I just go through the Paragon thing and then I start a Renegade playthrough, but it's just be like I just played it, so I kind of would slow down. So I always got the Paragon one still.
Who's your favorite crew member? That's
Oh, Morden, hundred
Morden,
percent.
really?
Well, yeah. Well, I like Garrus too. I mean, everyone likes Garrus.
Yeah.
Morden though, Morden's mad, and especially his send off in 3 was quality. So
Yeah, that was good. I'm
yeah.
more of a Thane guy myself, honestly.
Thane.
Yeah,
Thane's pretty
Thane.
cool. I could see, yeah, Thane's like he's like the fucking Batman of, well, sorta, I
He's
guess.
Lizard
That's the
Batman.
closest thing. Lizard Batman, yes.
Yeah.
Or Lizard Man, which may have a
Yeah.
different connotation, but
Either or. I'm pretty sure Batman got turned into a lizard at some point. Oh wait, no, maybe that's a Batman villain. I'm trying to call my mind back to the first
Probably.
Arkham
They
game.
all they are a lot of them are like animal based, I think.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
that huge crocodile lad. Lizard, crocodile, same thing.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, when did you like get into like sort of the Irish league scene in general, and like was casting the first thing that you wanted to do, or were you just playing in like Div 3, or what's the story with that?
So the origin is, I think it was basically G2. I think it was just called G-Land back then. Was the first LAN I attended because my friend like just dragged me. He was like, "Oh, that would become really cool. I know one of the teams is playing. I know one of the casters there, so he got me to go along. It's pretty cool. It was nice to see people playing League in Ireland. But I'd only been playing League for like maybe half a year at this point, not too long. Also, I just finished my leaving cert, which was kind of
Which season was this?
season 4, on 2014. Then I went to the one after that as well, and then what actually happened was, so obviously I knew this thing existed, and then what happened was I had my computer, but I didn't actually have a mic for it. So before that, when I was playing with my friends, I would use Skype on my phone
Mm.
to do Skype calls with them because we didn't have a TeamSpeak server or anything like that. And then I got a mic for my computer, and I was like, I kind of always had an interest in like getting involved, and I think shoutcasting was kind of the one thing that I think I could describe myself at, because I was firmly stuck in silver at this stage and realizing that my pro dreams were kind of dying. So I was like, hey, I have a mic now, so maybe I'll give this a go. Does any of you lads want to try this out with me? And Ty was like, yeah, no, I could give it a go. So we hit up the top team in Trinity. So we went to Trinity. We said, hey, can we watch a few of your games? We kind of practiced over them and recorded VODs ourselves, and then we got that first friend who brought me to the first LAN to contact the caster there, which was Oshin Malloy, Bug Penguin, to see if we could apply or whatever. And he said, yeah, sure, send us a VOD. We sent him a VOD, and they were like, yeah, cool, we'll have you on, and we'll let you do the College League finals for G Series 4 at the start of 2015. So yeah, that was how the story, how both me and Ty kind of got our starts, I guess.
Okay, great. Well, if Tog's watching, then you don't have to come on the show anymore.
I've spoiled it all.
Yeah, you spoiled it all. So you started in G2. I only joined like, was it G7 or G6?
G6.
It was G6. Wow, you know my history better than me. So
yeah, Zero GDX, man.
Zero GDX, Epic Adam 7. So like just like what's like sort of the feel of the early G series? Because coming into the tail end of it, it's sort of like it already felt like more of, I don't know if an event is a word, but like a community aspect. How was it like in like the very very early stages? Did it still have the same community aspect, or was it just like a house party in a hotel?
I would actually argue that kind of. Obviously, I think the production was a little less crazy. I'm not sure. I didn't touch COD, so I'm not sure how that those part of the events went. In terms of League, though, I think things were a lot more dumbed down. We had a lot less experience, kind of Mercury stuff. Brian Husker, he only started at Riot, which I think kind of helped out with a lot of like getting a lot of stuff into or a lot of help with LAN. In G4, which was the first one I worked at, but. You still have all things like the community games and stuff like that. Like I said, the casters would be right in front of the room or whatever, and I think it would be played out. I don't really specifically remember the stream specifics. And hang on a second, Mactara getting great use out of the printer. I couldn't see that because I have this stream on screen, which is a little bit behind. I'm being trolled, but it was. Not too much of a step up, I think, in terms of the thing, but it's just a case of the community kept growing, like as each LAN went on, as the tournaments expanded, and I think especially when the division system started being brought in, for better or for worse, is what actually brought the what kind of brought like a really big increase in the players in the game, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I remember in G6 when I entered, it was like I think Div 2 was like an open, and Div 1 like you had to like was it pre-enter or pre? Could you explain how that worked?
They took the top, so they basically, I'm not sure if they did it retroactively, but they got like a point system from G4 and G5, which was in G4 was in like March and G5 was in July. So the top 8 teams from that point system made it to the Invitational, which was like obviously the equivalent of Division 1. It was a bit of a mess of a tournament, to be honest, but you know what, we kind of got there. And then everyone else could sign up for the Open, which I think was a really cool way to do things. Obviously, it ended up being a little bit scuffed because one of the teams, Cerberus Blue, their support, Mr. Owen O'Brien, just no-showed their first game, and basically the whole team just quit the tournament like on the spot, which kind of scuffed things a little bit for Div 1, but Div 2 was pretty thing. Although that LAN in general, that was the one in Gamercon in Croke Park, which was, as McDara says, he's leaving the room, was an absolute mess. I was constantly fighting with the safety dude about where or where not we could put desks and cables and things like that. And of course, as per every G series, it started like 10 hours late. But what can you do?
That's Irish production for you. I mean, it's. I'm trying to think of another bad production that I can compare it to, but I just can't. You know? I
mean, LANs are tricky. Things break. Players sometimes are late, and you kind of don't want to be too harsh on them for it, unless you're me, in which case I just freak out at them. I remember one of the lands.
Deserved.
I remember one of the lands. DCU were like, I said, okay, guys, you got 5 minutes for a pause. The 5 minutes ended, and it was DCU Div 2 team, and I was like, they were walking back to their seats, and it took like all of my things to not just like scream at them. 5 minutes.
You had one job. So
Yeah.
actually, I'm interested to know, when did collegiate start? Because you started casting a collegiate in 2015.
Yeah.
When did this start going?
That was the ICL, the Irish College League, which was the old kind of initiative. It was started by a guy called John Garhan. I think just kind of get him like creating stuff himself, but I think he kind of stopped with Irish League after a little while. But yeah, he set up a college league. The first tournament had like 40 teams, which was pretty insane, and they just played a big double in bracket. That was the first semester I would have started college as well, so I actually played in that on a team with. It was me and Devil's bot lane, which, as you can tell, I obviously carried him super fucking hard.
Yeah.
But after that, then they had a split in the spring and the split in the summer, and then I think he left. It was handed off to me and Tig, but it was also kind of just a tough time. I don't know. They basically didn't want to do the actual G Series 1 didn't want to have the LAN at their event or to have the finals for the college league at their event. So eventually, me and Tig just kind of said we'll leave it. And the idea just kind of was not there for a while until Aiden kind of picked it up and redid it by bringing in ice.
So what you're saying is you went to Trinity, is like the moral of that story.
I mean, I'm not saying that out of the 3 ICL splits that happened, Trinity won 2 of them with 2 different teams, but Trinity did win 2 of them with 2 different teams. So
Trinity gang. Okay, so moving on to some other little Irish history, it would be remiss if we weren't going to talk about the 1916 Rising. I mean, if we weren't to talk about the Ferocity Era.
Padraig Pearse.
Yeah, good old lad, bit of yeah. No, tell me about the early days of Ferocity before they started like just winning everything and becoming super dominant.
See, Ferocity is actually a team that, before they started winning, had this super interesting story, because the first LAN I went to was G2, and that was a LAN back when the big team was Unite. So it was like I think Coco just started playing with them. It was obviously Coco, Hustlin, Boosh, also just started playing with them, I think. Limit, if anyone remembers him. But yeah, basically. Oh, Razor was on that team actually as well. And these guys came into G2. It's like, all right, we just got signed to an org. We're like big favorites. We qualified for like the top 8 UK tournament they had at the end of last year. Like, we're clearly the best team. They did at the end of the year. But so yeah, these guys were pretty crazy. And then they go to LAN and they get like bopped out by Ferocity, who I think were all plot at the time, and managed to win. It was like the original Ferocity lineup with like Kane, XJ, Stark, Wolfie, Kappa. And then they kind of just spent the next like year or two being like next year and a half being like the second place team. They couldn't beat that United team. Even when the United team got disqualified in G5, Robert Cooney and Azrael managed to 2v8 the entire tournament and win Div 1. Whether it was only Div 1 back then, but yeah, they managed to win G Series. And then it was when they got the German top lane master Zizzle over, and Boosh, Coco, and Hustlin all quit the game collectively. They kind of managed to just got given the top spot, but then they just didn't lose that for years. So it was weird seeing them go from like the guys who would always be second and the guys who would get like underdog wins to this team who just, all right, well, now we fucking win absolutely everything. It was kind of it's funny how the roles ended up switching for them.
From what I remember, actually, like Boosh didn't quit. He actually played mid and then like got subbed out for Howl as well. Homicidal Gestures.
Yeah, he quit. I think he basically stopped playing Overwatch, which I think the rest of them did. But he came back for G Series 9 with it was who's on that team? Him, Razor,
Devils was top.
Devil's top lane. It was Moot support, and their AD was. Oh, I should know this. Oh, I'm trying to remember. It might have been I don't know. Rob will know. He actually probably knows more about me than kind of some of the people who play on different teams.
I have no idea who it is.
Yeah,
Um,
some no name probably.
yeah.
But no, I'm gonna say that it's gonna be something really obvious. Oh, it was Voina. It was Voina.
Oh right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that guy.
That
Yeah.
yeah, that guy. Yeah, that won a few
Mm,
times, once or twice.
yeah.
Yeah. No, all I remember is the goose from that land. That's when I entered
Oh, yeah.
with
That.
the
Yeah.
gloose.
Oh, that was Phelan's first thing. That
It
was
was. It was indeed.
what eventually what would become Munster Rugby Gaming. You know.
Indeed, indeed. That's a
Yeah.
little history nugget there, so to
Before
speak.
before big mergers, the big collaborations, there was
Yeah.
Goose's biceps.
Of course. Goose's
Mm,
biceps carried us through all the way. So,
yeah.
like, you obviously watch a lot of the Ferocity games, and
Mm.
obviously many of the times I was placing second place to them. But like, did you ever feel that like any of those games, like there was ever a chance of them losing up until the point that they actually did? You know, with Phelan importing
uh,
some UK players.
I don't know. I was always really optimistic, so it was always like, hey, maybe this is the time where they'll get upset and stuff. But I I think it was kind of always deep down. I mean, they were always kind of clearly the number one, especially when they kind of just had that version of the team, which was um, when they had Blaze in um and Blaze and Peter and oh yeah, Foyna bot lane. That was it.
Yeah.
As soon as that kind of roster was made, I think sealed the deal for a lot of things. I think as well, a lot of the teams that went against them had like the talent, but they just, especially there was that one final, I think it was Raid Pro League where they went against. It was actually two finals because it was Raid Pro League and there was also the Raid LAN where they went against teams that probably like individually could have beaten them. Like you think about that NSG team, it was what Rengus, Dakin, Dano, I won't say anything about the bot lane, but like that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good like top side of the map. That's a top side of the map that now just wins tournaments pretty much.
Yeah.
And
Well, not Dakin, but
well, not Dackett, but I mean, like you could probably. I mean, I still would consider him quite good when he's like actually playing the game.
yeah, he's actually trying.
Yeah, but like I don't know. They go into a final and get absolutely smashed 3-0'd, which shouldn't happen given the level of players. I think just Frosty as a team were kind of like the fact they played so long together, the fact they worked so well together. Like specifically, I know people say that Zizzle was doing a lot of like the calling, like the heavy lifting in terms of calling on the team, which is, I mean, I think also would have helped out a lot. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know who was doing the majority of the shot calling, but they were like at the very least level in macro with like everybody they played. A lot of the time they were better, or sorry, level in individual skill, and a lot of it, and then just their team play would fucking destroy people. So
Like when I remember playing on the team, obviously, like, so a little anecdote I have is that one time Zizzle filled in for scrims, and my
yeah,
friend the CPROM, he said that like this guy is fucking insane, and he just like calls everything
yeah,
or whatever. But like when I would play on the Ferocity team, like say for example in the Pro League thing, it was a lot of Jake and Voina actually. Voina called
yeah.
a good bit, and like
Mm.
it was just sort of like fights would happen and everyone would instantly move. It was just like an innate synergy, regardless of who
Yeah,
got swapped in and swapped out. You know?
yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you play together, like on the same team for quite some time. And the main motivator for that is if you're already winning. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons why sometimes these things like snowball into one team winning for ages,
Mm.
is because you'll have like they'll just be winning. I'm like, all right, I mean, we may as well just play together again, and it's a lot easier to kind of stick to that for I think a lot of Irish players than it is to be like, all right, well, I mean, we got third, but we'll give it another go. So, and I kind of respect the people. I know when Kevin Mann was on, he was saying how like a lot of the time he just kind of really wants to compete, which is the kind of mentality I really like to see from players, especially in Ireland, because
For sure.
I've seen a lot of them kind of just like they only give it one real go, and then as soon as kind of things like don't really turn out the way that they want, they give it up. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, like another problem with the Irish team, I don't even know if you could necessarily call it a problem. It's just that like all the teams are player runs. You know,
yeah,
there's no managers, there's no
yep,
coaches. It's just like basically you get your mates together and
mhm,
try and organize things, and you know, people would have
yeah,
to be managers and team captains and everything. You
yeah,
know, it's a lot early League of Legends, like season 2, season 1,
Yeah,
etc.
I think it's that they like as well. They used to, if you think back in the day, I'm thinking back in the day, but like most of them would have, it might have been a little. I think it was very different because you had like, for example, you had Unite who were like actually signed with an org. Obviously after a while they stopped, but they were the team that were just winning, so they could just do whatever they wanted. Ferocity were an org that was, I mean, I suppose technically it was kind of the players kind of playing under a name. But like Cerberus was owned by someone. Obviously it's someone who wants to help them out, but it was someone who would like put a team together and be like, all right, guys, kind of want you to practice and do this. Same with Sentinel, Phelan, obviously, NSG, like all these were kind of like were groups of people that actually wanted to like have teams in the scene, which I think meant that the high level competition there was more potential for kind of these teams to rise up, even if it didn't always manifest, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame, but like every league is top heavy. I mean, try to think of a league that isn't really top heavy. Like maybe.
I mean, current LEC, but that's just because like a bunch of rookies came in. Like, hi God, we're actually good players, and now G2 is probably just going to win playoffs.
Yeah, I think G2 is going to win. Like, I don't count regular. If someone wins regular season, like who cares? Team Liquid won regular season, like season 5. And,
I mean, it is pretty cool though that, I mean, like just to really see that we now have two teams, which one were the rookies last year, and one are the rookies this year, and they're both looking like they could get to Worlds, and I think
Rogue's already in Worlds.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, Rogue are already in Worlds. Mad Lions could, even if they don't, Shaka would be cool to actually have at Worlds as well. Like it's just pretty exciting no matter who gets there.
Yeah.
As long as Fnatic, of course, get there. They're not allowed to miss out. But yeah, I think there's just it's. I think EU as a region is very exciting, especially compared to. I don't mind NA so much. I think they're all actually pretty exciting in fairness for their own reasons. But EU, I think, even neutrally is I think a really cool space right now. As long as they actually do well at Worlds. If they do shit, then I'm going to be fucking disappointed. But
I mean, EU is pretty good, but honestly, like I think they're I think the teams are really benefiting from it being all online. Like I mean,
yeah,
Rogue was quite yikes last season, and now they're all online. They're fucking smurfing. Well, I mean, when I say they, I mean it's Larson. But
they finished third in playoffs last summer. So I mean, I do think they are benefiting. I think Mad Lions especially are the team that probably benefit the most because you imagine like putting rookies on a stage like that. Given their summer split performance compared to their spring split performance in terms of like even just their finish, like nearly first place compared to like kind of fighting for fourth. I think it kind of tells, but at the same time, I mean, what can you really do? They're kind of just taking advantage of the circumstances being put in front of them. So
I mean, yeah, it's not their fault. They got given,
given a pandemic.
Yeah, they got given a pandemic.
Make it work. Yeah.
Just like I got to avoid all my exams and got to do assignments, which is so much better for me. But
hell yeah.
Yeah. So okay, tell me who do you think is gonna qualify for Worlds? Obviously, Rogue's already qualified, but who are the other three?
All right. See, my heart really says Fnatic, but I'm so scared. G2 will, 100%. See, Rogue have the last two. I don't think SK will. I feel like I actually have a lot of faith in Shaka to qualify, and so then I think the last spot just goes to whoever loses between Rogue and Fnatic, and I actually think that could be a very kind of close series.
Do you mean Mad and Fnatic?
No, sorry.
Rogue's already qualified for Worlds.
Rogue's already qualified. Damn. Because that would mean that Mad would qualify then, because it would be Shaka versus Fnatic, and Shaka would beat Fnatic. Oh, I don't know. That sounds treacherous, because I also think Fnatic can kind of just like pull it together. Because I think Fnatic, if they play well, can win. But I have like my faith in the team is just through the fucking floor right now. I'm not too confident in them.
Honestly, I'm not really that confident in EU going for Worlds. I mean, like I'm confident in G2, of course. But
G2,
like,
yeah.
I think that it's going to be played on some form of a stage. Obviously, there's not going to be like crowds and stuff, but like it's still.
I think as well. It's like you're kind of being pulled away from your home setup, which obviously, like, I mean, you think about like playing at fucking I'd like playing a QCon or whatever. It's kind of it's like obviously we're there like losing every game. No one's really watching us.
Yeah.
But like even then, like the fact that you're kind of there, you got well, I suppose you have everyone besides you in your gaming house, but you're kind of on a stage away from home. It's kind of a different vibe. But
Yeah.
we'll see how they kind of handle it, I guess.
Like in that case, I'm just not really too confident in Rogue or Mad
Mhm.
Lions coming into Worlds, and like
Yeah,
the fourth place is such a wash for me, man. Like I think SK are not really that good. I don't think Fnatic are that good either, and like
yeah,
I'm not really sure what to think of Schalke. Like they have like
yeah,
recency bias says that these guys are insane, but
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of have to watch them play a series in
yeah.
playoffs first before I can know.
That's one thing as well. I think that Schalke are a team that obviously they're in form right now, but a lot of that just resets. I think when things come into playoffs,
Yeah.
and it could be a team that just like completely falls, like just trips up first round, lose to SK, and then suddenly I think, all right, well then I'd be fairly confident Fnatic would make it. But um, I don't know. It would be cool to see them continue to play well, given how people are behind them.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably Fnatic as the fourth because like I
I
heard that LEC is going to be like in studio for playoffs. I'm not sure if that was actually like confirmed or not, but
I I would hope so. That would be, if they are, then I think that changes a lot of things, and I
yeah.
think that probably actually fucks. It might fuck Madlands actually, depending on how
Like
Fnatic.
it'll fuck Schalke as well because like Abbedagge is benefiting heavily from this as well.
Mm,
I think the online thing.
yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah.
yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So let's talk more about Ireland then. So, like
Yeah.
a point that we should touch on, like in the FRC era,
Mhm.
is GamerCon, because GamerCon was an experience, man. Well,
Oh my
well,
god.
just tell me what your experience was at GamerCon. Just lay it all
Oh,
out, man.
I actually hate to think about it. So I mean, I can kind of give a short little summary of my fucking week. Um, so the LAN was on Saturday, Sunday. I went in a little bit on Thursday just to kind of have a look at the area. It was the first time I got to see the area. It was like, oh, that's pretty cool. We've a lot of space for League of Legends and stuff. Um, we can set things up nicely. Some of the players be on laptops, but they're high spec laptops, and we can give them space to plug in their mouse and keyboard, so things are fine. Once we get the table set up, we should be okay. Friday, come in early in the morning, bright and early. A few volunteers are ahead of me, and they're fucking making LAN cables, like as in like crimping them. And it's like, why? Because we actually have no LAN cables. Like, like it fucking takes ages to make one of these, let alone like however many we need for all the computers. And I was like, I mean, I thought we would have had, like the actual equipment we needed. Um, there was something else that was monitors as well was another thing that we just didn't have enough of, and I had to barter with like the fucking Rocket League players to see if I could, hey, any spare monitors, can I grab some? Oh, I need something. It's like, are you sure you need some? How many Rocket League players do you have? And it's like, oh, it was an absolute like fucking mess just trying to get all the equipment we needed. We to uh, buy a bunch of LAN cables last minute, which probably should have just been done in the first place. Um, so then get in Saturday morning and leave Friday evening. The network guy hasn't shown up to actually, connect anything to the network. Come in Saturday morning, he still hasn't come in. Someone tells me he's not showing up to like 11 or something. I don't know. Maybe he'd been doing it, but he'd only been like setting it up like incrementally. I fucking don't remember. At this point, I was like really tired. I was glad most of the teams were there. Well, there was one team that was missing. But yeah, everyone in their seats, ready to start. But obviously shit isn't working. I'm like, all right, we get the stage PC set up so we can have at least something on the stage, and then I just try fucking put together what other PCs can work. Of all the Fortnite kids coming over to my area, trying to sit down at the laptops and play, and I'm like, no, this is an area for the stage because there's like nothing sectioning the area off at all. And the league players don't have the aura of the CSGO area, which is just get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So it's literally me just trying to see if I can like fix any setups, like and kind of put them together, like even one at a time. We kind of got things going, but it was clear that we were like fucking giga behind.
Mm.
I'm there like trying not to like like fucking lose my mind while also like customer servicing things. A bunch of the volunteers just like saw the thing and was like, "No, I'm fucking out." Someone brought me my lunch. I put it down for like half a second and it had gone.
Oof.
So I just didn't eat all day. Uh, well, I suppose I ate after. Yeah, it was the fucking mess on the Saturday. Then I had to go tell teams like, right, well, we don't have enough space. So remember that losers bracket that we were planning on having? Yeah, not get fucked. By the way, some of you guys are cool. Don't show up to Gamercon tomorrow because you're not let in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so yeah, then we kind of spent the evening just seeing what else we could kind of fix. I went to the fish where I think a couple of lads were hanging. I think I just fucking necked a Long Island and then left so I could go home and get 2 hours of sleep before I got in the next morning to set things up again. Did that. Second day went a lot better, I think. Still, a lot of the shit wasn't working. We basically just converted all the laptops to be like, hey, you can sit down and have fun here if you want, guys, but no Fortnite allowed, as much as the kids were trying.
Good.
It kind of went a bit okay. Oh, actually, yeah, man, there's so many things. I know, first of all, I saw Shauna in chat earlier. She's just giving me shit because her team took fucking like twice the recommended time to end the game that it would normally take because it is Division 3, of course. So every game, lasts at least twice as long as it probably should. While they were trying to like kick us out of the venue so they could actually turn things off and lock things up. And I'm like, no, I swear it'll be over soon. It's like, oh, they just stole Barrett. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. One team that we're missing came up to me and was like, hey, so when is our game? It's like, you were supposed to show up, at the start when you were scheduled to. It's like, no, we're supposed to be able to play. And I'm like, nah, you fucking missed it. And I had some German girls screaming at me for like fucking 20 minutes, following me around and shouting at me. Oh man, see, this is the thing. I just don't talk about Gamercon because I know as soon as I start, I'm just not gonna fucking stop because it was just like almost a case of everything could have gone wrong, would go wrong. Then at the end, I was never paid. The company's gone into liquidation as of like this year. So yeah,
Nice.
fucking.
Nice.
I mean, that definitely accelerated just the general molding that I go through. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty not good, man. That's pretty not good.
yeah, I was not a fun weekend. I think I ate like about a total of 1.5, like the equivalent of 1.5 meals, and slept about like 6 hours across those 2 days. And I had to go in college on Monday as well, which was great crack.
That's rough. Yeah, the only thing I really remember from it, like, well, there's two distinct things I remember from it. So the first thing was like cruising up on one of the days. There was like a massive, massive queue, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
player. I'm going in." And they're like, "Yeah, no
yeah.
bother." So that was pretty good. I love doing that. And then like the other distinct thing I remember is like there was this whole like stage area, and there was like camera people or whatever that I got to interview or whatever, and there was like a show match that we got to play in, and the show match just went
Oh my
absolutely to
god.
shit, and
Yeah,
that was
that
before I
was
had to play finals as well. So
that was that was one thing I kind of took comfort in because it was like I remember at one point like the whole league thing's going on. I was like, oh my god, I fucked this up so badly. I was such a disaster. Like I was like blaming myself for a lot of it at the time because I fucking just do that in general. And then I heard about like just fucking fights at the door, people trying to get in, and I'm like, all right, well at least this is the worst thing that's happening this weekend. So you know what? Let's keep going. Yeah.
yeah, GamerCon really it really did a number on Irish
I
gaming
mean,
events in general.
yeah, like I don't know. That's the kind of shit that I think a lot of people see, especially sponsors see, and it's like this was such a fucking disaster. Like it's too risky to like touch any kind of event
Yeah.
for the next while. So it takes a lot of the confidence out of uh specifically not well, mostly non-endemic things, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty it was a bit of a
Sad times. Sad
bit
times.
troll, to be honest.
A bit troll. I mean,
Fucking
not like we
dirty.
have that problem anymore. Events don't exist.
Well, I
Oh,
mean, they can't exist right now. I don't. I mean, we can
yeah.
go on after, but.
I was just thinking like all the people there in the huge event. You get to talk to loads of
Mm.
people and hang out with your mates, and I was like, ugh.
Mm.
This happens every week. I just get sad about coronavirus, man.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, okay, let's move on to Estars. So
Okay.
what did you? So Estars obviously was not the best run event, but It's definitely fucking
Mm.
better than Gamercon, man. Well, and you started casting like a few weeks into it, I think. So,
Mm.
do you want to tell me like your just sort of experience and perspective on Estars in general?
Yeah, well, these guys kind of came in, and I mean, obviously, the first thought for myself was like, this is basically just GamerCon 2.0. Like, it was almost more outlandish because GamerCon was supposed to be just a con that like had a lot of money behind it, which in theory is like whatever. A Stars was like, we're taking these players out of their bedrooms and basements and into the spotlight, the grand stage, Irish football teams, and it's like why?
I
So,
I actually
but
have a little anecdote about that. So
yeah,
the Estars ad where it's like the guy or whatever he's on the stage.
yeah.
I actually know that actor. That actor
Oh, really?
applied to our college, yeah, and was in our first year and like dropped out after like 2 weeks or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember the E Stars guy.
Uh,
Yeah,
I think I'm trying to remember his name. I haven't followed on Instagram. Was it?
yeah.
Might have been Rob. I don't know. I'll figure out
Can't remember.
later. Yeah. So that's just an interesting little
Yeah,
anecdote.
it
Anyway,
was it was so yeah, it was kind of weird the concept, but obviously, I mean, first of all, I applied as a player. I think my application was a little bit memey. I literally said I was the best pantheon in Ireland because that was the meme at the time. Uh, also I linked my stream as well. Because was I doing? No, I was. This is before I started doing MNL, I guess. But yeah, so I kind of applied. Then I applied as a caster when we found out how to do that. But I think they already had Nikita down because he worked for DLC,
mm,
and I think Oshin kind of got there first. Plus, I think that his profile was bigger than mine. It's kind of still is, I guess. So he got kind of accepted for it. Um, but yeah, after a while, Oshin just kind of he couldn't do a week, so he asked could I fill in, and I did. Then he couldn't do another week, so I filled in again, and I did. And eventually, Nikita just came to me and was like, "Hey, so I mean, you've been there every week, and Oshin started bailing on us. So do you want to do it full time?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Which is how I started getting into it. But it actually was like really good crack. I think the scuffed presentation inside it was. Oh, see, I'm glad that Brian's in the office because he'd kill me if you heard me saying this. But it was just really fun. Entirely financially irresponsible
of
by
course.
the people running it, but it was really good fun to be able to like kind of hop on the bus with the lads that I knew every week and uh, go out to Big Betty,
Good
play a
old
few
Betty.
games, cast in the fucking front of the truck. The weirdest thing, the weirdest casting setup ever. And yeah, it was actually like that was really good crack. And then the final was 100% like it was just I don't know. The fact that I actually got to cast in 3 arena is it's like it's just fundamentally such a flex. It's like, hey, everyone on station 3 arena, I have. I was right there. Um so yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of it's outlandish, kind of the stuff that we got, like between the prize pool, the fact that we basically got bust everywhere.
Got free jerseys.
Yeah, well, I still have my E-Stars jersey that they made me wear during the final. Like all that kind of stuff is kind of it's crazy, and I mean, there's no way they made money off of it. There's a reason they didn't do it again, for Lee anyway in Ireland. But fly going around there. But yeah, just from my perspective, and I know a lot of the players' perspective as well, that was it was really fucking cool. And
Oh yeah,
to be honest, might have set an unrealistic expectation as for them to what to expect from like any other tournament that followed.
for sure, for sure. I can't imagine their Fortnite event was entirely fiscally responsible either. I mean, I'm sure it would be more
Uh,
because there'd be people
they,
attending the event, but of
I mean, they sold. I don't know how much money it made, but they sold tickets for a fairly expensive thing, and I mean, they got a lot of kids through the doors. So
course.
I definitely made more money than the legal license one, 100%. But I'm not, I think they haven't done another one since, and I think ELC have moved on. They're now doing Valorant tournaments, I think, and I think they seem to be going pretty well. So,
Yeah.
um, they've kind of got away from the Estars brand at least.
So actually, there's something I wanted to ask you in regard because I just remembered it from the GamerCon thing.
Mhm.
In regard to like the CS:GO versus League players thing, I don't know like how much CS:GO you cast, but like
Hmm.
it just does seem like a sort of general aura that CS:GO people are like way more jacked and way more like serious. They'll fucking kill you, and League players are sort of just
Uh,
more timid and shy
yeah,
guys.
it's oh man, I think See, the main thing is that so I only actually I tried casting CS for a while, and I did a couple of things. I did like one of the raid skirmishes, and then I did a couple of events in 2016, one of the G series and Insomnia, and I did that remotely. But the thing, see, my general, especially with RCS, is that because the CS franchise has like existed for a lot longer, like a lot of CS players are like older, and you'll have kind of these more like established things, and so you have like I think a lot of the kind of the big characters that come out of RS League today are kind of a lot more kind of like younger, I guess, instead of more like kind of their whole I say brand like cynically, but like just kind of like their whole persona is like a lot more kind of zoomery. Whereas with our CS:GO players, you got like Natjay, who's like this lad from Cork who just takes his top off whenever she gets tense. Or I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. There's like I don't know. They're just it's just that they're a lot older in general, and so like their memes are kind of a bit different, I guess.
Yeah.
They are the most jacked CS:GO players are the most jacked. Also, the most obese CS:GO players would be more obese than the average league player as well. So,
They're just more
yeah,
extreme on both
yeah,
ends.
they're just a bunch of extreme dudes, whereas league is just a bunch of sad anime boys trying to
Well, I mean, like
trying to be
the thing about that is like the time to become a professional at League of Legends is like you can literally just like get picked straight out of solo queue like one
Mhm.
year in regional league and then you're on the pro
Yeah.
level. But like at CS:GO, you have to go for like 10 years before you're playing in like ESL 1 or whatever and constantly refine your craft. So that might be
I,
another thing that like sort of plays into the
maybe, although at the same time, that still does happen with CS. They do have uh, like Face It and ESEA and all those kind of like. So obviously, because CS:GO's actual matchmaking is like super scuffed, they have
yeah.
all these like individual ladders that you
They
play
have
on.
like a private server where all the high
Yeah,
elo players play on because you know it would be way too scuffed otherwise.
yeah. So yeah, that's all like. Yeah, that's like so. That's kind of more coming up through that, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas Liga, like I said, is kind of a bit more refined. But at the same time as well, CS because it's open circuit has like all these like smaller tournaments, so you can like you're it's easier to play on teams earlier, I
Yeah.
guess. Which I think is super cool because it kind of mirrors like a lot of the actual sports I would watch, I guess, where there's kind of a system that you work your way up.
Yeah.
Um, I think leagues just like solo queue is cool and all, but yeah, you have to play solo queue in order to do it, which doesn't always mean that you're a fucking fantastic player. Especially if you're in North America.
How do you feel about the league system in general? Actually, sort of like the franchise leagues or whatever, because I actually find the franchise leagues quite boring. I would much prefer an open circuit sort of thing. Like obviously, it's a lot more
Hmm.
financially viable to have
Yeah,
like the leagues or whatever, but I feel like I just sort of don't watch like regular season or whatever unless I'm like just doing nothing
yeah.
and it's on, you know. And I only really care about what happens in playoffs, you know.
See, I think that it's kind of different. It's kind of difficult because obviously most Liga that I would watch would be I don't really watch that much NA. I'll throw on some LCK or LPL in the morning in the office if I can. But yeah, E is most of what I watch, and a lot of the increase in the quality of the broadcast coincides with the point where they move to franchising. So it's kind of tough to really like pick those apart.
Mm,
But I think fundamentally, just as a system, um, open circuits or having like an open system where like teams can go up and down and you're kind of like you are at risk is ideally the better way to do it because then you're kind of you can have these stories of like oh these five guys just came out of nowhere and now they're fucking climbing and it used to happen like all the time if you think back in the day. I think that it's fine now, but only because in Europe, I think teams are so committed to actually getting the best players.
yeah.
But I think NA is like kind of a worse example of like the downsides of it, where things remain quite stagnant, and you'll have like it's only this bit really that they've even been trying to kind of like bring new talent in
Yeah.
from like new actual North American talent. So it, I mean, it kind of requires actual like buy-in, I guess, from teams in order to make a system like that work. Because otherwise, then you kind of could just find yourself like languishing. It's like, oh yeah, well we have this guy who's like not very good, but he's back for his sixth season. And there's
Yeah.
probably younger players who would be more exciting and more cool to watch. And I think it's good that EU's actually able to
Yeah.
kind of avoid falling into that.
I mean, like the production quality of EU is definitely offsetting that quite a lot
Oh
because they have really, really good
yeah,
production. But
yeah,
like, uh, I mean, like I think instead of having a spring split, you should have like sort of like peppered tournaments. And obviously, you can't really do that right now, where you have like different
yeah,
tournaments that go in different
mhm,
fucking countries or whatever. But
yeah,
let's imagine a world where everything isn't totally fucked.
yeah,
Like having like separate tournaments where you could have people like it would just make it more exciting, you know, over a weekend or whatever, and more of a reason
yep,
to see new teams and
yeah.
that
I've
sort of
always
thing.
kind of like thought someone who like obviously, I mean, watch football and they have the league and they have like the FA Cup or whatever, and it would be cool to have like I said, maybe instead of like the spring split, have like just some like massive fucking even just like it could be even like a fucking open tournament. It could be open to like maybe like the LCC teams and the ERL teams as well. And while there'd be a lot of non matches, it would also be just cool to have something like that potentially. Like I said, maybe it's not just make for the most competitive tournament, and then it's probably a reason why they run the FA Cup at the same time as things. But conceptually, it's very cool. Obviously, it kind of depends on.
Yeah, it would
Unfortunately, a
depend
lot of
on how
things
you
are
execute
yeah.
it.
Unfortunately, as well, a lot of things are gated by cash, and I think it'd be tough to run that and kind of really get the returns that you want. But
Yeah,
I just think that having that combined with like a league system as well would be really cool to see, even if they just did it like once a year or whatever, just to have. I don't know. I like fucking massive open tournaments and shit.
yeah,
So,
I like events. They're cool. I remember like watching a lot of the ESL tournaments, even though the production
mm,
was absolutely egregiously bad in those
yeah,
tournaments. It was still really exciting just seeing
mm,
like
yeah,
those small international events. Yeah,
yeah.
that is that is that. Right. So the whimsical one.
Mhm.
Tell me about the Whymsy Cup. What inspired you to run a tournament?
Ah, D series. I don't know. I just kind of I wanted to run one. I wanted to see how it would take. I think that I was helping a lot of people out with stuff, and I was like, maybe if I kind of just had top down control, I can make a tournament I wanted. So I did, and it was pretty much what I wanted. It was just I qualified. Well, I didn't know. Did I qualify for it? No, people just. I wanted to have qualifiers for it, but only 8 teams applied, and I was like, well, it was the number I wanted anyway. So here you go. Join the league. It was just round robin into the 14 playoff. But yeah, it was only Div 1 as well, which personally is the way to go. But
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
that's an interesting point. Actually, what do you think of the whole like division system in Ireland? Like, do you think that like this whole Div 1, Div 2 thing is sort of like so? My personal opinion would be that I don't mind having the Div 2 thing, but you can't really ever have a cash prize for it because there's really nothing to stop people smurfing in these,
yeah.
and like it's sort of just to have a bit of fun with your mates,
See,
and I don't have a problem with that, but
see, the thing is, like, first of all, it was. I remember initially when the things were announced, there was uproar because it was like, why do like I remember specifically one team came to me. It's like, all right, we're clearly the number 3 team in Ireland. Why do we, as the third best team in Ireland, get like 1/5 of what this like team of goals is getting for like playing like thing? It's like, what's the fucking point? And then like the thing is that divisions were good for getting people into. As I said, that kind of like coincided with a lot of people actually playing the game, a lot of people entering tournaments, but that never translated into kind of like people really wanting to be competitive, wanting to compete. It was more just about wanting to win, and rather than work for it, they were just kind of like, okay, what's the like? It's not about getting better as a player. It's more just about like, what's the easiest way for me to like win? What's the tournament that's most likely to make me win? Which is kind of a mindset that I think has been encouraged by the divisions a little bit. I think they can exist. I think it's cool they do exist. Um, but every way that's been tried so far has been a bit abused. I think the first way was done by average rank. You just had teams like, all right, so I'll be a diamond player and I'll play with like my 4 gold friends, um, or something, or yeah, or that kind of shit. Then when there was like specific rank limits, you would have teams who would like just stop playing ranked until
yeah,
they're
just
just
sit
like,
on their rank. I know
yeah,
so many people that would just sit on their
yeah,
rank just to play in
and
those
like
tournaments.
it's like, well, I mean, you're technically that rank, like you're not smurfing because I know it's your main account. You haven't like specifically demoted to play in this, so it's not like particularly like you're just kind of just stop playing rank. So like, I can't really kick you, but I know if you enter my tournament, you're just gonna fucking destroy people. So like, it's just so much. Personally, from a TO point, there's so much stress having to deal with that shit because people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's so unfair they're in a tournament." I'm like, yeah, but kind of. I mean, I'm kind of stuck with these limits, and it's not fun to see. Personally, I think I mean, there was a tournament recently where the Div 2 cutoff was like literally like the organizer's like rank and his friend's rank, and like it's like that as well. It started like just getting really arbitrary as like to what like people want. There's no like even like defined thing across tournaments, so you can be like, all right, me and my friends, you know, we're better good enough to like be a high level Div 2 team. The next tournament's like, nah, well, two of us now just fucked off the team. So it's, I suppose it is kind of wild westy now. So it's like I think it's translating really badly. My ideal, it's the fucking pipe dream, but it's so difficult to actually implement as well. It's like if you had some kind of like points or leagues thing that actually tracked how you did in tournaments as opposed to your solo queue rank. And that kind of indicated whether or not you would qualify for Div 1 or Div 2 in a specific tournament. Because that way, it's like you aren't getting like that. You aren't like just like sliding under the bar by not playing ranked. Like if you win Div 2 tournaments, it's like congrats on winning Div 2. Here's your prize. Now you're in Div 1. So yeah, that would be the dream. But I mean, coming up with the system for that is a bit complicated. So it would be something that I would like potentially like look at doing, and like have it even across tournaments and stuff would be cool. But there's a bit of work involved.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so not right yet.
Like I quite like the community aspect of Div 2, and like a lot of people become friends this way, you know, and hang out. But
yeah,
even like in the fact that there is a rank restriction, you cannot be this high ranked to play, and it means I don't think you can have a cash prize for this. I don't think you can be playing for really anything meaningful, or else you'd be playing in fucking Div 1 because you're trying to win. You know.
I think it is okay, but like I also like I just said there, it's with the caveat that you go into Div 1 after, like because then it's like, all right, you won it now, but you're not winning it again. Like you're not winning it again. So it's an incentive for people to sign up for the tournament, and then it's if they're good, then all right, well now we get you into our bigger tournaments where you probably should at this stage be competing. So I don't know. That's I think I like I said, it's nice I think to encourage people at lower ranks to play because it encourages a big player base. Personally, I find that playing like fives, playing tournaments is so much better than solo queue, which just like I don't know how people play like solo. Like I don't know what my most played games this season is. Maybe it was like back when I was a crackhead, like in season 5, but or season 6 probably. But yeah, I don't know how people play like more than like 250 games a season.
Yeah,
because
it's rough, man.
It just does my head in.
When I was playing tournaments, like the part I hated most was playing solo queue, and like you kind of have to grind solo queue to be good. I mean, it's just rough, man. Solo queue is rough. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Monday Night League, and not the horrible NA one, the classic one that you should have trademarked, even though it was probably a thing before.
My lawsuit with the Riot NA offices.
So what inspired you to start Monday Night League, and like what inspired you to end it, so to speak?
Damn, I can't remember what I always had the idea for it. I guess because I mean, obviously, I can like talking about Irish League for some reason, but I just had the idea for it, and one day I was like, I mean, I have a Monday free. Hey Rob, are you around? You want to go on this? Like, you want to start this thing with me? I was thinking of making a weekly thing, and he was like, yeah, sure, that's cool. And we kind of just got in at like a really fucking nice time because it was just as Estars was about to start. Was on, Ice was on, the Raid LAN was coming up, so I think it was kind of just like it was a good time for it as well. And so I think that's what like kept a lot of its initial steam going. Then after that, it was basically just me being like, all right, well, who would be interesting to talk to? Who's like someone that's talking about? For example, I think like Joe Blaze was like kind of a lot of people were talking about him at the time.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. I think I got agents for Ice Finals. I got one of the Div 2 players before like Super Series tournament, which was the first one was only Div 2. Uh, yeah. So I think at that and between that and like asking also like some like of the older players about like them, and like their kind of their careers, so to say, like their what tournaments they played in and how they kind of been at different times.
Wow,
Um,
who would do something like that?
yeah, I know.
Who knows?
Bringing them out of fucking retirement home. But yeah, it was just kind of it was just like a lot of it was just like me kind of being interested in what people thought about it,
Hmm.
and so it was pretty cool in that regard. It kind of started falling by the wayside when well, that would have been summer of 2018, right? Yeah. So basically, I would have been doing that kind of like around towards like when I finished up college, and then I kind of started working after that, which took a little bit more time. Rob was also around a lot less because I had to constantly like sub in or getting people to different co-hosts with me, um, and there's a couple of other things. I think the viewership was actually going down a little bit, and it was all kind of a bit demotivating. So between that and kind of just having a bit less time, I kind of just I kind of just didn't do it, which sucked. But at the end of the day, I mean, if I don't have the time, and I've also kind of was running out of topics as well, like there's probably not a point in kind of dragging it out much longer. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't really have anything else to add to that. That's quite succinct what you said. So let's move on to sort of like your contemporary times with sort of the whole
oh
catch
yeah.
up XP and raid thing. So
Hmm.
what do you currently do at raid?
So well, Raid's kind of like startup mode ish. So I currently do a lot of things. Catch XP is on its way back. Maybe some news about that soon. Um, but yeah, on top of that, I do a lot of stuff with a game called Heavy Metal Machines, which is like a mix of a MOBA and Rocket League. It's actually super fun. So I'm like kind of like they're one of the big kind of European like faces for that. I do like their European like the videos for the European League. Me and Alex Delmer, New Lake, we cast their finals as well. And I'm also a community manager, so like things like sorting out Discord stuff and kind of managing their Discord server. Um,
So you're a
dealing
Renaissance man,
dealing
basically.
with player requests. I don't know what that means.
It just means you can like do
Oh,
everything,
oh
basically.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well,
You
something,
know,
learn
the
something every day.
Renaissance. You've been
Yeah,
enlightened, so to speak.
yeah. But but on top of that as well, I think I'm generally a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the time, if they need like something written, like a script or something like that, or someone to go on camera or record something with their voice, I'll be someone that they'll go to in those cases, unless it's a bigger project, in which case they might go outside like a specific voice talent or things like that. But yeah, I'm just a form of like in-house talent, especially right now. My role is quite flexible, uh, just doing a lot of whatever everyone else around me needs. So,
Yeah, just you're doing it all, man. You're doing it
oh
all.
yeah.
So, what was your favorite like tournament or LAN or even moment in these lands,
Uh,
just of all of Irish history,
this
going
is
going back to the 1900s, you know?
go back to the 1900s. This is actually the only one. Sorry, this is well, it's not the only one. This is one of the few questions from the list that I've actually kind of like I've actually thought I'd an answer for beforehand. Um, so I have two for this.
Yeah.
My first one was actually G Series 8, which was not a LAN that I casted League at. Um, but I casted CSGO at that LAN, but like I think we went out the League last on Saturday night. It was kind of funny because I turned 21 like on the Sunday, so we were literally in academy as I turned 21, and that was good crack. Um, but yeah, that was really cool, like a really cool LAN with like good memories and stuff. I think that the tournament went down well. That was the one with the really hype Division 3 final. Um, I would actually recommend going back and watching the. Actually, if you can throw clips in that, because sometimes it'll just pop up in my feed the G Series 8 like highlight reel. Um, because Two Shoes, who is now a streamer, I think he's been streaming a lot of Zelda and stuff. He did like the editing on it, and I think it's done really well. But like it kind of just captures like the whole kind of like community vibe of the time. Are links on in your chat? Oh hell, they
Yes,
are.
the
Cool.
link is in the
Um,
chat, so check that
obvious.
out. people.
But yeah, so he did the like so all of his edits I think were pretty cool. But yeah, kind of like it was like just a real kind of community spirit, and like kind of like I was mates like a lot of people there, and so it was cool hanging out with them, cool being around the LAN. Also casting CS:GO was like a really kind of fresh thing, and I had a lot of fun with that one. And the other one was actually the Estars final, because like I said, 3 Arena, we got like almost the fucking superstar treatment where we had like this backstage room and all that stuff. And casting on a stage in front of like, I was obviously the place wasn't packed out, but like a crowd still that large
Yeah, it was a
was
decent
like,
crowd.
yeah, it was actually like it was so hype. Like at like at the start of the first game, I was like, I said something like make some noise or something, and I heard people cheering, and I was like, fuck man, that's actually so cool. So that was great. And then also we just went to the fish afterwards and had like the fucking massive sesh, and then went chaplains after that. Yeah. So a lot of the good memories are just tied to like the sesh that accompanied whatever land. But yeah, that was A-Stars was also just the fucking like almost surreal kind of the stuff that was going on there.
Yeah, yeah. Estars was wild. It was quite an experience, and I feel sad for people who didn't get to experience it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was good times. So tell me about the future for the Whimsical
Oh,
one. What is? Are you going to be casting more? Are you just in raid? You're doing your thing for raid, or what?
uh,
Or is there any content plans? I mean, obviously, you mentioned something about catch up XP that you can't leak
yeah.
right now. So
Yeah, I don't want to reveal too much. I'll just say that things are like obviously things got held up for a bit longer than we would like to, but it's definitely going now. Um, yeah, as for me, like I said, I'd say I'm sticking with Raid for like the foreseeable future. Like this is it's been pretty. It's I don't know. It's just pretty cool that like now basically have a full-time job in gaming and esports. Uh, it's like especially given that I work like it's a couple of years in like in tech and CS and stuff, and I just for the most part did not enjoy myself. So I'm glad to be doing something that's like a lot more me, and I get to like kind of be creative and like do stuff I'm passionate about, which is fucking awesome. So I mean, for the immediate future, at the very least, I'll be just kind of I'll be here, you know, making stuff and doing cool stuff. So yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. Would you ever consider like going full time for casting? Oh,
I tried that, but I was kind of I don't know, things didn't shake out. So that's kind of like I think yeah, when I finished up in college, I was like, all right, just after doing the raid tournaments and the E-Stars, so I'll apply for like a few kind of casting gigs, um, and I got like zero. So that was a real kind of like fucking.
it's because you didn't have me making your show reel.
I know, yeah, that was. I mean, I definitely should have actually. I think having those show reels actually fucking is a bit of a killer. But that was like kind of I wasn't 100% down with what I was doing, and I didn't really have the contacts as well compared to like some of my contemporaries from Ireland, which I think held me back. But yeah, it kind of was that was a real like demotivator, and that kind of like just steered me towards I guess moving into tech.
Sag.
Maybe at yeah, big Sag. Maybe at some stage. In the future. But for now, I think I'm just going to take this time to kind of explore kind of what like kind of the esports space is and kind of like working a company I'm happy at. And I'm just working on like more technical shit casting than anything. I just wish I had more time for it, I guess. But it would be super cool because I do like shouting at video games a lot.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess now we'll take some questions from Twitch chat if there are any going. I haven't seen Moot in the chat, so I'm expecting
Be
only
nice to me.
only troll questions.
I,
So
I,
what were you say?
I said we'll see what we get.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see
see
what
what
we
we
get.
get. So I have a topic for the
Mhm,
meantime. So on episode 1, I talked to Kevin Man a little bit about trash
mhm.
talking. What's your sort of opinion on this?
All right. So before I say anything, I will say that I am like I don't know. I trash talk a lot whenever I play like tournament games, or just in general for a tournament. I will basically always refer to my team as the team that is going to win, and refer to the enemy team as like the worst team. I spam pings. I'll hit a question mark in chat when appropriate.
Of course.
So like I'm not like kind of I'm pretty happy to trash talk, and I think once again I agree with what Kev said in that it kind of does increase the emotional stakes of the game, which is cool for the players involved. It just kind of like it just adds a little bit extra to it. I think. Not that I do it intentionally for that reason. I kind of just do it for the crack. Um, but I also make sure that it's all in good fun, and it all kind of stays specifically with the game, and it's more like me almost like being so outlandish with it. So it's not like I'm not trying to put people down by it necessarily. It's more just I'm just kind of having some fun. I know discussion last time. I guess I would venture a little bit in that you got to be careful about it getting out of hand. You don't want to kind of be personal about it.
Yeah, of course.
I know that fucking what Zane God's thing was brought up, and like I mean that wasn't trash talk. That
Yeah,
was just
that's harassment, man.
that was just transphobia. So like I
yeah,
mean, I like is there's definitely a line you can cross, but it's kind of if you just kind of I don't know a spicy an emote spam or a question mark or I don't know a few messages in chat now and again is all right. It's fun to see. Yeah, so just make sure you keep it chill, I guess.
yeah. Like I'd sort of like to see. I don't know if scripted is the
Mm.
right word, but like you sort of prompt players to
Yeah,
trash talk people, and not like the LCK trash talking thing, which was absolutely
yeah,
egregiously bad. but maybe somewhere like in Europe where people could actually do it. Like you could just sort of
yeah,
prompt people to do this, and I don't know,
yeah,
not scripted, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
just have it sort of prepared and
yeah.
like have this sort of
I
banter going.
I
You
think
know?
I think a lot of people as well, especially like in Ireland, you kind of have people who would be good at it. So yeah, and people they already kind of do. It's already, it is, but those mostly just come across through banter and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Okay, there's a few questions here. So,
yeah, I'm reading them.
what is your opinion on pickup league and how that works
um,
out?
pick up. That was last year. Yeah.
Probably.
Did I? I'm trying to remember. Did I write? I'm trying to remember when I wrote that. Because it was just. It kind of started out as like, hey, I could do this kind of thing where I could like do an individual elo for Irish players that they would like compete in their own like ladder or whatever. And like now, I mean, I could just. My job was kind of slow at the time, so I just spent a couple of hours, doing that each day at work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was cool and it was active, and I actually think that combined with the Red Bull Player One that was on at the time, kind of got a lot of people playing with each other, which was actually pretty neat. Kind of introduced a lot of players, which I'm very happy about. Uh, yeah, it was very fucking tiring to run because I would have to commit like 2 evenings a week where I would have to be around, and then I would have to like, kind of sort this stuff out. Um, but I think it kind of largely conceptually worked out the way I would have wanted to. Yeah, Pick League was cool. Personally, I prefer my version of it to Ted Bond's version. Even if it did kind of give you the kind of the
What's
repetitive
the
matchup.
distinction for people who don't know?
So mine would. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Mine would basically the difference. Okay, I think this is how it worked. I'm not 100% sure, but I think how mine worked it was that it would group players into a match and then make the teams. So you have like the top 10 players in one match, then you have the next 10 players in one match, and the next 10 players. Whereas Ted Blondes would make random matches and then balance the teams depending.
Hmm.
So what my system was kind of designed to do was that it would basically be a case of like if you're a diamond player, you're going to be like if you're a diamond player, you're going to be playing in matches with diamond players. If you're a bronze player, you're going to be playing matches with bronze players. Which obviously I think kind of means that you're less likely to get absolutely fucking destroyed. Obviously the downsides to that are that you're probably playing against the same people a lot of the time if the ladder's kept small, and sometimes the roles may be a little bit more difficult to get sorted out together because the role sorting was done afterwards. But I played a few of Teblon's ones, and I basically just kept laning against people who were like diamond. It's like I don't know if I'm really kind of bothered signing up, I guess,
Yeah.
for this anymore. So I don't know. Overall, I think it was cool to get new players in. I would like to see someone do it again, I guess, but I don't think I would
Do it yourself.
personally play in it
Yeah.
unless it was my original system, because then I know that I'm going against other shitters, which
Yeah.
is my dream.
So Renger asks, what's your favorite
Mhm.
Monsters University character?
Darren Dakin Hopkins.
Same. Goes without saying. Okay. Dragonship1 asks, at Moo, how's Goose's mom? Yeah, she's great. She's doing really well. His dad's even better. Have you seen that clip where Goose's mom walks in on him on stream?
I I that's really old one, is it?
Yeah, it's a quite an old one.
Yeah, I think I have. I think I have. I think I have seen it.
Yeah, it's a
I don't remember it, but
it's a great
you
one.
know,
Um,
what one?
Blackburn 0009. I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm reading out the full Twitch names. I know who these people are. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
uh,
I mean,
no,
I think so. What else would it be?
it depends. I mean, depends how tight your definition of sandwich is. Recently, like
Like, so
realistically,
is a roll a sandwich?
I would define that as a roll specifically.
Well, then I'd say a hot dog is more of a roll. Then
Yeah, I would say a hot dog is like a hot dog's a roll
Yeah.
than a sandwich. I would always have a sandwich. It's like I think, yeah, I don't know. It's my brain's not functioning 100% right now. If the bread is cylindrical, roll.
Mm,
Otherwise, you're definitely in sandwich territory.
yeah, yeah. Those are questions to ponder. Okay.
Yeah.
Renger asks, "How is Pugsy's uncle?" She's doing great. I have Pugsy here. Hold on, let me get her. Come on, Pugsy.
Oh, Pugsy!
Ugh.
Oh man,
Okay, Pugsy. Come on, you're so heavy.
I can't believe she evaded our attempts to kidnap her from your house.
I know. There she is. Hello, Pugsy. Hello.
Oh, Pugsy!
She's very cute.
Oh my
Um.
god!
Okay, so final question. John asked this last
Right,
week, but I
right.
think it's just generally quite a good question. What do you think the future of the Irish scene is? Oh yeah, yes. Thank you, Pugsy. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know. Irish League of Legends is in a really weird place where I think that a lot of the people who really wanted to build up in the past have kind of moved past it, um, which makes me kind of uncertain, I guess. Um, First of all, obviously, we can't do any events and stuff, which, to be honest, I think are actually the lifeblood of the scene.
For sure.
It's cool and all playing online tournaments, but um, like having lands in person is just, and you'll know yourself, it's just so much better having like these big in person events and these kind of like big culminations to these tournaments. Um, like even QCon, I mean, QCon itself on its own thing is the whole, it's crazy. But
Rest in peace.
I'll be maybe back. It'll be back next year, hopefully. But yeah, but I think at this stage it almost comes to like, is someone going to step up and do that after lockdown lifts? And what's the case there? Because it is like it's a huge. Like I know personally, I remember at one point I was like looking at potentially doing one myself if I had enough cash left over. It's a huge time investment. It's a huge financial investment. You need to know a lot about different areas of like of kind of event planning and esports and stuff to put on, in my mind, a good event. So it's very tricky, I think, to kind of see where that comes from. I guess I really hope it happens because obviously we want cool tournaments and stuff, but it's I don't know. I'm kind of just I would hope you get something, but yeah, it's it's tough for me to kind of to see it kind of reaching kind of the consistent level that it was kind of back either in 2016 or in 2018, I guess.
Yeah, it's pandemic definitely did a number on it. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna have to end the show and avoid Blackburn's second question.
Uh,
So thank you for coming on, Wimsy. Any final topics you want to touch on? Anything we missed?
uh, not particularly. I don't know. I mean, I already kind of talked about Catch XP. Do I get to plug?
Yeah, you get to plug, man.
Oh
Go ahead, go for a
man,
plug.
that's the dream. Follow me on Twitter at David Wims. That's the key meme. Or follow me on Twitch at the same thing. I stream games, depending on what I'm feeling. Also, yeah, a big shout out to fucking Munster Rugby. I mean, the big fucking driving force in Irish League right now, and it's
Absolutely.
super cool that you do the show.
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
I mean, it's still really cool, especially now, given that it's like obviously I think Catch Me had to change focus after a little while, but it's cool that we I guess get to revisit things a few years later, and especially through a new lens as well, because
Yeah.
I have my opinions that don't really change, but you'll be doing things your own way. So, yeah, cheers for doing the show for everyone, Moo, and cheers to Munster Rugby Gaming as well for kind of being the big Irish esports name representing us. So
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's everything. Follow me at mrg_move if you want more Pugsy pics. I'll post some more
hell
pics
yeah,
of Pugsy. Pugsy says goodbye. Goodbye, Pugsy.
bye Pugsy.
All right. I'll see you guys all next week.